folks can go a little long. Bill Clinton went a little long, but that's not surprising. And I don't, depending on, I think Cavalier got his in 2 minutes. I watched it again, and so he got it in, and but there was others that got up there, and you kind of going like, dude, I think you're going a little long right now, and that's certainly, but they love you. Bill Clinton said something last night that kind of poignant when he said that he had just had a birthday. I think he's 78 is that birthday. And he said, I don't know how many more of these I'm going to get to come to. And so I thought about that in terms of, he said his first convention was 1972. And I think him and Hillary was working on the George McGovern campaign in 1972. The rest is history. He goes on to become governor. I think he ran for U.S. House of Representatives, lost, but then became governor of Arkansas, and then, of course, gave his infamous speech. I want to say at the 84 or either 88, where he was long, and he ended up going to get a speech coach. That's just how bad that was for him. So, we make progress. I was saying that when people talked about Kamala Harris's run, when she actually ran in the primary 2019, early 2020, people talked about how bad a campaign it was. And I used the analogy, very few people are Tiger Woods, and even Tiger Woods lost his first professional golf tournament right here in Milwaukee at the Greater Milwaukee Open. Very few people are Derek Jeter, very few people. And I would even say, because Michael Jordan, people pointed out, he got cut from his high school basketball team, right? So you get cut from your basketball team, your high school basketball team, and then you go on to be the greatest of all time. It is really funny. Sometimes you don't know who's in your midst, right? You could have greatness in your midst and don't even realize it. Ask Digital Underground, because they had this dude in there. What was his name? Pook? One Pook? Tupac. Tupac was part of Digital Underground. I think he was like a roadie, right? And then they discovered, oh man, this dude could rap. By that time, he got on, and I think then he got to Death Row Records after Digital Underground. Well, he had that episode in New York where he was incarcerated, and then he got to Death Row Records. So you just never know the greatness that's in your midst sometimes, especially when people first start and you go like, oh man. I mean, but that very few people are just, it's rare that you have a person just walk in and, they hit a home run the first at bat. So, no, it's something. So again, I was watching. I know people have been watching. What's your impressions, Debo? You said something this morning. Though I was listening to the conversation you were having with Michelle, and you're part of an interesting demographic. That being, a black male living in the country, and how black males respond to the political system, right? I don't know if people noticed this little shifting in messaging from the convention. And so, sorry, Otis Moss the third. I don't think democracy is on the ballot anymore. It looks like joy is on the ballot. But just getting away from this whole idea of talking about democracy in certain spaces, because when you look at descendants of enslaved Africans, democracy, I was hearing people talk about, it's almost this dichotomy, because I think it was Doc Rivers said that, black people love America, but America don't always love us back. And so when you feel that and you go through that, but the fact that you're engaged, right? I mean, you were going to vote, no doubt, but you're a little bit more engaged. And to hear this one brother who was at the rally Tuesday when they interviewed him, and he was saying, well, it's kind of on the fence. And he called in and he was just talking about the enthusiasm. He said, now I want to hear policy. Mm-hmm. That's a level of engagement, right? And if you're engaged at that level, that means that you might be more apt to then get other people involved, right? Talk to your family. Hey, we're going to vote, So I was talking to my godson, dropping him off at work. And I said, I know you didn't vote in this last election. He did vote in the primary, and then in April. So he did vote in April. I think that was his first time voting. So he voted in April. Carvey voted for the first time this year. But be able to have that conversation. So will Carvey be talking to his peers saying, "Hey, man, we need to go vote"?
Carvey, who would you, if the election was today, who would you be voting for? Can we get you to a mic and maybe just quiz a 19-year-old?
Yeah, who would you vote for today? I wish you would have to go home and tell your mama you didn't vote for Kamala. Remember that T-shirt they had? Don't tell mama I'm voting for Obama. They were talking about Hillary Clinton calling her mama. Don't tell mama. So who would you vote for?
This dude here.
I would definitely vote for Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Would you talk to your friends about it?
Oh yeah, we talk about this all the time.
And that's interesting because we think now. Look, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, because probably the space I was in, we talked politics all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, but we talked about it more from a theoretical, not real practical. Like, you need to go vote, right? I mean, it was that. But yeah, to be able to have that, and so we get the sense that young people don't even talk about these things.
Nah, see, so we on Instagram 24/7, and literally only thing you see on Instagram is election and politics right now because we in a season of election. But
I know one thing, just
that's all we talk about.
Kind of piggyback on what you were just saying. They spoke to how the DNC invited over 200. What's the word that they use for them now? They're not influencers. They invited over 200 influencers, digital influencers, just kind of speak to what you just spoke to. Yeah. So that they have, just like the press and the media has, they have given them that same space. Yeah.
And I think that is,
and that's.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say that's good because you can get a reach on the younger crowd.
That's what I was just getting ready to say, that you talking now in their language. And I know that for all these audio files out there, people love music from back in the day. You would make the argument about analog and how much better analog is. Analog was good in its day.
Yeah.
But we're in a digital age now. I mean,
and it's limitless what you can do.
Exactly. And the reach that you have in terms of being able to, let's say you're doing a birthday party.
I don't even know what analog is.
Yeah, see, analog.
It's the difference between what you hear now and what an old Al Green record might sound like.
You're actually listening to like an old album. That's usually done in analog.
Or cassette player or something like that. That's still kind of analog.
And I hear cassettes again. They said that cassettes are making a comeback.
Cassettes,
but
I hated cassettes, man. Cassettes were first of all, once you got them tangled.
Got to go in there
and try to figure it out, pry it open, try to figure it.
Well, I used to enjoy though. I would take the whole thing apart and take the guts out and put it in a different holder. If I had some issue with it, splice that puppy. It's a DJ thing, I guess, because even in radio, that's how we did commercials on the reel to reel. We would splice them. Go ahead, Carvey. You were saying.
I was going to say, what happened? It's similar, something similar to like what y'all are saying. It's like music apps on our phone. And so, for instance, if a music app is crashing, just like if a cassette tape will crash, you will only have to do this. Swipe it up and then go back and
reboot. Yeah. I mean that
yeah, we didn't have reboot.
But what was interesting technology was the 8-track tape. Because 8-track tape allowed you to go to different songs. Cassettes, you had to listen and figure out where the stop point was and begin point. 8-track, you didn't. You just, track 4.
But 8-track was noisy.
It was noisy. It was big. I mean, cumbersome. Remember the ones that came that was Senate? Some of y'all back in the day remember the 8-tracks that they were Senate. Yeah, they were Senate. And so it was a whole lot. It was an interesting experience. I don't know if the sound quality was better than listening to an album. There's a guy who kind of bequests my buddy some albums, and he gave them to me. And these albums are literally 50 years old, and they're in great condition. And if you put it on a real good turntable, not the whole digital thing that people use now, I know Tom Joyner used to call these DJs lazy because they weren't hauling boxes of
Crates
of
yeah.
records, which was crazy. You
Call
know,
me lazy then, because I'll never do that again.
right? You had people who, come on, man, we just get to the digital, and I have the most of my music libraries on my phone and iPad. So it is digital. I mean, I go in again. I have some plastic.
All right, what about the MP3 player?
That was good technology in terms of moving us to this type of technology.
Yeah.
I had MP3.
And what about your personal
The
CD player?
Yeah, had
With your
that.
headphones.
I had a Walkman.
Yeah, the Walkman.
Yeah, the Walkman. Sony at that point was like, they were the. But see, now it's your phone.
Do you know what a Walkman is?
Walkman?
Yeah.
No, but I know what Sony is.
Yeah, Sony did the Walkman, and Walkman was really a cassette player that was very small, called a Walkman. You had earphones to it, and you walk with it.
So let's talk Sony though.
Okay.
Sony is like a big company when it comes to like mobile devices and
movies.
movies.
They are
literally everything.
They're the evil empire.
Yeah.
Are they still not fully owned by the United States? Doesn't China own Sony or something like
No,
that?
Sony's Japanese.
Well,
no, it's multinational.
Hmm.
It's been bought, sold, merged, so you don't really know who is doing what with Sony. But they do movies. I know on my cable platform, it has its own movie station. So then it's able to run its catalog, much like when you look at Max. Max owns like all these. I think they bought MGM, so they have all the MGM stuff. So like Casablanca.
When you speak to Max, is that HBO Max? Is
HBO
that
Max, and they went to Max.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then you have,
but AT&T owns all of that.
No.
Yeah, AT&T owns that. One reason I say it is because when I worked for the phone carrier, we would offer it free because we were all under that umbrella of AT&T.
Well, because it's been sold so many different times, because a lot of what is,
they dropped the HBO, and it just became Max.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's their catalog, so you get everything that they run on Cinemax, everything they run on HBO, everything they run on Turner Classic Movies, which is like my favorite channel because I just love old movies. But yeah, they have Casablanca. We were watching The Wizard of Oz yesterday. You ever see the original Wizard of Oz? Or
no.
You did The Wiz?
I might have.
Like I said, Wiz.
Yeah.
Nipsey Russell?
No.
Did you?
That's fake.
Did you watch
What's
any?
Fake?
Nipsey Russell? Only Nipsey I know is Nipsey Hussle.
No. Nipsey Russell was a comedian,
actor
back in the day.
Did some acting. He was in The Wiz.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in The Wiz.
Okay.
Yeah, Nipsey Hussle. I saw somebody with a Nipsey Hussle shirt on Monday
This
night.
dude said Nipsey Russell was fake.
I mean, I thought you was trying, make my little young joke.
He real.
So it could be where Nipsey Hussle came from.
Part of
that might be true.
Yeah. It's amazing how rappers pull up their names and use their own names and creativity.
Because even I can even say to my name, my stage name, Carvey P. It's a Milwaukee thing. The P. Is a Milwaukee thing.
What's the P stand for?
I guess player, it's just like pushing P, That's a Milwaukee thing. If you look around, it's a couple Milwaukee artists with the P, after they stage name.
Yeah.
What
do artists call Nike Air Force Ones in Milwaukee?
Dookies. Or Dukes.
That's so crazy.
Dukes.
Yeah, I never figured out why we call them Dookies.
There's some stories. I always tell the story. One story was they were playing ball over at McGovern Park, and you remember back in the day, people go to Marcus when Marcus had the same, like they were doing Dr. J's back when I was working at Our Avenue. So I guess the team all had on these brown Air Force Ones, and people said they looked like Dookies. And then somebody said, no, they call them Dookies because they're the sugar honey iced tea.
Okay.
And it is because Nike's number one seller is Air Force One. I mean, all over the country.
Right. Well, the one reason, and it's not why they call it, but the number one seller is because they look great. With a fresh pair of those and a fresh pair of jeans.
You like Air Force Ones?
Oh man, please. With a fresh pair of jeans, please.
No,
Gotta
they,
keep
the white
you a
ones.
fresh pair of the white ones.
White ones,
Keep
because they say you
keep your
got black
fresh
ones, you on business if you had the black ones on.
No, I have black,
Okay.
and they look great with jeans too. I mean,
What's
they
the
just
comfort level?
complement. Bad 10.5 to me.
They're comfortable.
Yeah.
Because one of the things about Jordans that people, oh, you pay that much for Jordans, put on a pair and walk in them, and you see what you're paying for.
The one thing I speak to, and it's with pretty much any shoe, that's probably the lowest flattest shoe when we speak to the Air Force One.
Right.
Flattest shoe that I could wear that it doesn't bother me because of the lack of arch support.
Okay.
Yeah, because shoes without arch support, my feet go to cramping and everything else, man, if you don't have that right shoe on.
I got when we were down at Juneteenth and I came down for the remote. Remember, I took my shoe off.
Right? I recall.
And it wasn't that the shoes were uncomfortable. I had the wrong socks in. So it was like tight on my foot. But I wear Hokas. Those are the best walking shoes. I mean, I know they're ugly. People call them, these are my granddad's shoes. But walking in those, not only great arch support, great back support.
Well, my best or favorite walking shoe, and I haven't owned a pair in a while, but I had really gotten into Rockport because they did
Rockport is designed.
Yeah, are they still a decent shoe? I haven't worn them in years.
Yeah, I think the term used to be orthopedic shoes, and people get that, and you think, but and maybe when we were young, our feet was hurting when we was wearing some of those shoes, but you can withstand the pain. Maybe when you're young,
they was hurting because they wasn't your size.
Right, it wasn't your size. You
you ever get that shoe that you just wanted it. We don't have it in an 11.
Okay, well you got a 10.
We only got it in a 10. Okay, well, go ahead, give me that one there. Your toe already at the edge of it.
Oh man, it's tightened up on it, man. And I'm fortunate because I had
to tell your mama that these shoes hurt.
If your mama buy them, they're gonna be 2 sizes too big because you gonna grow into it because she ain't gonna buy. One time we went to Sears over on 21st on 20. Was that Fond du Lac?
Yeah.
And when you were a kid and people called in, me and Greg Lewis talking all the time. You want name brand, right? Even though nobody on your block had name brand, you wanted name brand, and so we was over in every pair of shoes my mama brought out. I didn't like. Because the ones I wanted, she wasn't gonna buy, and so she bought me these shoes, and man, if they were not the ugliest shoes, and then they had that thick rubber sole, and she said, "I bet you won't tear these up." Those shoes were indestructible, man, and they was ugly, and I'm thinking, oh man, so I'm getting to the age now where it really matters how you look. So I had to be about 10. Yeah, maybe 10, 11. It really matters, man, especially when you hit puberty, because now, you're attracted to girls and you want girls attracted to you. So, what your shoe game was. So, yeah, we would talk about, like, always when they do Throwback Thursday, how old were you when you got your first pair of Chuck Taylors? For certain people in a certain generation, that was the shoe to get. And then leather shoes, but I always loved shoes. So for me, going in and looking at the technology of a shoe, you see a lot of people wearing these Alexander McQueens. I was at an event and this sister came in with some Alexander McQueens on that she had customized. Man, they look good. But the problem with the Alexander McQueens and a lot of those shoes that are done Jimmy Choo is those shoes are not always comfortable, right? It's a sneaker, but it's not always comfortable. They're doing more style than they are doing comfort. And so when you look at different shoes, different companies that come out and make shoes, the question is, and even a great dress shoe, can you wear this shoe most of the day? And the better built the shoe, the better you're able to, because you talk about arch support and some other things in comfort. So ain't nothing like a good pair of shoes. But again, getting back to the convention, I had a chance I listened to it twice, Amanda Gorman's poem that she did. She has an incredible how she places her rhymes and again, it'd be the alliteration is just incredible. because she'll have a rhyme in the middle of two sentences, but it flows. She's an incredible poet. What incredible, she went to Harvard. But she's just incredible. I have the book, the poem that she did at the inauguration. And so to be able to see that level of talent, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, damn, I can't page Keon. Because I was going to page Keon when John Legend came out with Sheila E. You knew the hate just went up like,
I thought about you.
Did you? Because, man, I was in there
Keith
hollering, no, not John Legend.
Keith's losing it right now.
I lost it, man. And like I said, normally I call Keon, dude is on. Or did you see your boy? Did you see your boy? Oh, man. And just so people get a little background of me and my thing with John Legend, when we started Haters Nation, John Legend was the first object of my hate in Haters Nation. Why you hating on John Legend? Well, John Legend graduated number 2 in his class at high school. John Legend then went to the same university as Donald Trump, University of Pennsylvania, there in Philadelphia. He is that an EGOT? He's conscious, the whole thing. And then he could sing. It was just like coming to.
Don't leave out his beautiful wife.
And his beautiful wife. But, I love, what's his name? Gaka Kalakis, the guy from Hangover with the beard. And he does something called Between the Hedges, where he's interviewed all these celebrities. I don't know if he did Obama, but they did a great thing. And you got to love John Legend's sense of humor on this. So my guy is pushing up on, what's her name? Chrissy Tierney, whatever his wife's name is. He's pushing up on her, right? They got it on tape. So now he has to interview John Legend. And John Legend is going, like, looking at him like, dude, you've been pushing up on my woman. It was just like, so to be able to have that level of sense of humor about him, but very conscious. I mean, he's on point. And so he was the first. He was the first hater, and he would always come up. And then, of course, in Coming to America, an awful movie. The sequel was awful. I don't care what you all say. It was awful. It was garbage. But the best part of that movie was the credits. Best part of that movie. Here's an interesting thing. And I asked, so Rhonda looked it up. Why didn't all the originals who were still living, came back? Eric LaSalle was the only one that didn't come back. And he was saying, I had conflicts because I'm a director. Eddie Murphy's probably one of the busiest people on the planet. You had Wesley Snipes, who wasn't in the original, but he's in this one. But if you see the credits in Coming to America, you will see, I think the rapping twins are there, Sexual Chocolate. They play so good, don't you agree?
Don't you agree?
Don't you agree?
Funny.
That was incredible. And I love that movie. Coming to America, the original. That is just a great movie. It is a great movie. When he going looking for the girls in the barbershop, say, yeah, you go down there. Those girls are good and clean. Those good girls, they clean. Oh my God. That was a great. Don't do sequels. I know you want the money. I know you think you can. Don't do remakes. Don't do sequels. It is very difficult. I'm gonna tell you somebody.
There have been some good ones.
Okay. I'm listening.
Yeah, Danny Glover and
the Lethal Weapons.
Lethal Weapon series.
That was a good series.
Yeah.
That was like a series. We're talking about The Godfather, Godfather 2, Aliens, Aliens. I mean, where they say that actually the sequels could have been better than the original. But you really put yourself out there. I think if you're doing like that whole series, like Fridays is a great series. Yeah. They were able to come up with something different. It was fresh. They introduced new characters.
Do you think writers, especially when you have sequels, do you think they go in with the thought of sequels already in the back of their mind?
Oh yeah.
Or where they would go
Oh, yeah.
direction wise?
There've been I think The Godfather, when they filmed The Godfather, they began to, right as soon as it wrapped, they began the filming of Godfather 2.
When you
and,
think about like a Scarface, for instance, I mean, unless it's
and I hear they're going to talk about doing Scarface 2, which would actually be Scarface 3. The original Scarface was done, Paul Mooney, 1930 something. That was the original Scarface.
Where could you go with that?
I don't know.
He and his
Everybody else got killed, right?
exactly.
Did he have kids?
They're trying to say that Pacino didn't die. His character didn't die.
Really?
That's impossible. The
The
way
cocaine didn't kill him, and the bullets didn't kill him.
Not right. He's still alive.
Tony Montana. And then here's the problem. Here's the problem with this movie. These folks are supposed to be Cuban, and none of the roles were played by Cubans. The major roles were played by Anglos. So, I mean, and the stereotype in the Cuban community down in Miami particularly really pushed back on that movie, because just like Italian Americans pushed back on The Godfather, because it said it perpetuated a stereotype about Italians and Italians being in the mob and the whole thing. And so there was something that happened. There's a great movie that they did on the making of The Godfather, and how the guy had to go and basically pay off this gangster who had started this in order to avoid going to jail. He started the Italian American Defense League in New York, and so he was able to pay him off so they could film in New York.
Wow.
Yeah. So
probably should take.
That happened with the Mac too.
Really?
The Mac. Not only did they have to deal with these brothers, they were pimps. They also had to deal with the Black Panther Party.
I could imagine.
So, and both of them seemed like they were extorting them. So, you're listening to Community Voice. Call ICU. I'm gonna grab you right after the break. We'll be right back. For your patience, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Debo. I just wanted to say, Keith, don't be hating on Coming to America too. That I laughed through every bit of that movie and probably watched it on Prime about 100 times.
Oh my God,
Had me
Denise,
cracking
come
up.
on, Denise, Denise,
And I
Denise.
thought we had similar movie tastes.
We
'cause
do. I have such
I
mad
bought
respect
Pootie
for your
Tang.
taste. What did you find enjoyable about that movie?
Every bit of it.
Every bit of it?
Leslie Jones, Wesley Snipes. I mean, it was funny as heck. All of it. The what's her name? The young woman who kind of reminds me of Grace Jones, who played Wesley's daughter.
Okay.
The queen, the new future queen. The dance, all of it. The kid, his kids,
Yeah.
when Eddie Murphy's kids kicked his butt in the beginning, and just all of it. It was funny. And his father, James Earl, it was James Earl Jones, right?
Yep.
When he was making fun of his manhood and the voodoo doctor, all of it. It was just funny. For me, it was funny.
I'm gonna have to watch it again, because when I watched it, I just say I think you tread on dangerous ground when you do remakes and you do sequels. I mean, they usually fail spectacularly.
Yeah, that one didn't disappoint. I mean, I think I got into it more when I watched it on Prime, though, I have to admit.
Okay.
Because then I had a chance to really take my time and see everything. And it all kind of, I think it played well with number one, with the first one. And then, I think they did as good a job as they could have of doing a follow-up.
When I knew something was up with the writing, when the country Wesley Snipes was the dictator of was Next Doria. I was going, okay, y'all didn't put a whole lot of time and thought into this. Okay. Did you phone that in? Okay.
Hey, I got a Next Doria t-shirt.
Well, you know what? I have people who come after me for my love for Pootie Tang, so I'm not going to come after you.
My kids.
Huh?
My kids, they're more cultured in their, appreciation for film, and they just are disgusted every time I say that I love Pootie Tang.
Oh. There's no accounting for taste. I mean, there's certain movies out there that, in my mind, are classics. I'll give you another one, Half Baked.
Oh yeah,
with Dave Chappelle and Clarence Williams III as Hercules. I mean, there are, but that Coming to America, that Coming to, that was tough. That was, and maybe because the first one was so good. Because the first one really was good.
But watch it again. I think you.
Well, I'm gonna have to now. I'm gonna have to now, man. Because, like I said, it was. But I like the credits were outstanding. And if you ever taken a film class in college, they tell you do not leave until the screen goes black. You sit through the credits, right?
Well, I did sit through the credits. And I did take film classes at UWM, lots of them.
Well, you know what's interesting?
So,
I did go to the movie theaters to see Coming to America.
Huh?
I did go to the theater to see Coming to America. Or did I watch it on Prime?
I saw Coming to America too, at the end, what was that? They when he played, they don't call it the dozen, but what was it that they did that rhyme?
Okay.
The Witch Doctor, when the last scene.
Who played the Witch Doctor? That wasn't Michael.
That was
Blackson,
Arsenio, wasn't it?
Oh, he played the Witch Doctor. Okay.
I think it was Arsenio.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Arsenio because he played and then he was spitting on himself and the whole thing.
So
I have to go back and look. I think it was Arsenio that played the witch doctor, but it was funny. And then when they acted like they were going to circumcise the new prince.
Okay, I definitely got to go back and watch this movie because I'm gonna tell you, it was so pedestrian. And I don't know if I went to the theater to watch it Or
Yeah, when I saw it in the theater, it was one thing, but then
Okay.
when I watched it on Prime,
okay.
and I had a chance to really focus on everything that I missed, there's a lot going on in that movie.
Okay. Well, I'll have to pull it up and watch it. Now, Eddie Murphy said something. He said, when movies first come out, the critics pan them. People may or may not go see it. He said that a movie that surprised him at how good it was Harlem Nights. He said, when I went back and
Oh, I
watched that
love
movie,
Harlem
it was
Nights.
not a
Oh.
bad movie at all. And I'm telling you, that there are scenes in there. Look, there's a whole new name for a woman who can do some things. Her name is Sunshine. If
Sunshine.
people
And
drop
the thing
Sunshine,
was,
you go, oh, okay.
that movie was the perfect Kwanzaa gift when people were still watching movies on CDs.
Okay. All right.
You have a great day.
All right, you too. I'm gonna have to go watch the movie now because I have a journalistic responsibility. Caller, welcome to the program.
What's going on, Keith?
Hey man, I can't call it. What's happening?
Y'all was talking about analog and stuff. Right?
Yep. Oh, that's right. You a DJ? Yeah. Okay. Hello.
Hello. So I found this. I didn't find it out, but you know how you got like a receiver with all the ones?
Yeah, you got us on speaker because you're breaking up.
Oh no, I ain't got no speaker.
Okay, there you go. That's better. All right.
You know how you have wires on like the receiver?
Right.
Like they got this invention where you plug in your RCA jacks into a Bluetooth device to where you can Bluetooth off your phone instead of Bluetooth off. You got Bluetooth off your TV. You them old speakers.
Right.
I think that invention, $14, is probably one of the best things I bought in a long time.
You know what?
Because you get them tall. My pops made these speakers, like 8 speakers, and they were the analog. Okay. I was trying to figure out how can I use them because you got wires all over the place. Nobody use CD players. Everything's off your phone or TV.
So would there be a sound? It wouldn't feed through the speakers? It would still feed through the speakers, right? Without the conversion.
No, yeah, you can, but you need a receiver. But most TVs, you can't plug wires into TVs no more.
Okay.
And they won't, like a Bluetooth, like a sound bar.
Okay, but what about now? I think my smart television has Bluetooth.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the old. I'm talking about the old receivers.
Oh, so,
the good ones.
You know what I did, man? There is a high-end stereo store on North Avenue. Man, I want to say it's about maybe 72nd, something like that, North Avenue. And I went in and I got a refurbished receiver. And it went out on me. It kept going out. And I kept going, oh, man. So this dude, I only paid a couple $100 for it. So I go like, okay. So then I went to Flanners, just going through, doing my fantasy, looking at the Macintoshes. And
Flanners is throwback when you say Flanners.
Yeah. Oh, Flanners half suit, right? That's just Flanners now. You go in. And so dude hooked me up with a Sony. There you go. Sony. And it was ES class receiver. And it kept doing the same thing. It kept like clicking off, like the power surge. So I
had too much power going into it.
No, I figured it out. I went and looked it up. And what happened was I had the turntable on top of the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
When the receiver gets
hot,
right, it will shut down.
It's designed that way.
It's designed to shut down.
Yeah.
In the past, you just blow the tubes, right? Now it cools, it just shuts down. Your Apple will do that. Your Apple phone, if it's getting too hot, it'll shut down, right?
I think all phones do. All phones do that because you could be at the swimming pool. If your phone ain't covered up,
right?
Oh, it's gonna burn up.
Yeah. So
too. Also, before I cut you, also too, the best place I found receivers was at a Goodwill. I bought one for $20. I still got one.
Is that right?
Oh,
yes. Yeah. It's a Denon. That thing works. That thing works good.
Harman and Kardon for me is the
oh yeah, well that's a different level right there though, dude.
Yeah, but that's
first speakers I ever had was Kardon. Was it Kardon Harman? First ones I ever had. Yeah, they. Yeah. And I will now use clips.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it was my good friend Fred, who's really an audiophile. and it was Keon who turned me on to there's these German headphones. They're ugly. You got to plug them in.
With Sensenheimers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sensenheimer. Oh my God.
Yeah,
but the
they're
sound
awesome.
quality.
I don't know, because the sound quality, the Radio Shack has some good quality headphones too.
Okay.
Have you owned a pair
Radio
of
Shack.
Sensenheimers?
I can't even say the name, Debo.
But they are awesome.
They're awesome, man. Like I said, it's German. Germans don't get into style. Germans get into functionality.
Mm-hmm.
And so
And when Debo said he was precise with the scissors, I don't know, Debo. I think I got you on lockdown. I took that tape apart. But listen, guess what? That tape said Anita Baker, but I know it was something else on that tape. And I had to make sure I had to keep it, because you wasn't getting it no more.
Right.
That was when you had to push the record and the play button at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you couldn't say nothing in the background. You had to shut up.
Yeah.
oh man, do not tell me, brother, that you didn't have your cassette up to the radio recording music. Please don't tell me you did that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Because your people can't be in the background talking.
Well, how else was you gonna get the music?
You couldn't afford it back then.
You weren't going to the record store.
We were down in Miami, and the movie Amistad was playing at the theater. I'll never forget where I was. We was at Church's Chicken, and neighborhood merchant rolls through, and I got Amistad. I'm going, dude, because this was before direct to distribution. This was like in the theater. I'm going, man, and he had the cover on it from the movie and the whole thing. That's when I was introduced bootleg. People taking in their camcorders and recording the movie. You got people talking in the background.
Well, 2 things before I get off about bootleg. My first bootleg was putting your phone to the speaker, and that was your voicemail. That was your voicemail, and you had to shut up too.
Hey, man.
Because you caught the whole background. Your mama done cussed you out in the background.
Hey,
you
y'all,
gotta do
I'm
it over
bootlegging
again.
here. I'm bootlegging.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
There you go, man. Okay.
And number 2, my second bootleg was R. Kelly. When I watched that video, that was number 2 bootleg I watched.
Not the video of.
Oh yeah, yes it was.
Infamous video.
Yeah, well, don't say it. Don't say it on.
Oh no,
air
that's why I did. That's why I did. That's why I said that video.
That's considered child pornography. You know that, and they put it
I
out
said
to
that
anybody that had that tape. You have child pornography in your possession. So,
yeah. So, good day, y'all.
all right, man. Appreciate you.
Now he wants to hang up.
Yeah, I bet he FBI gonna be able to use to see the that warning about the FBI and how it was copyrighted. And
Man, you'd be surprised when I worked for the phone carrier. It was amazing how many guys would come in. They had this big FBI banner on their phone. FBI would lock them up. Yeah, lock them up.
Okay.
Lock them up because they had pornography.
When file sharing first came out, my buddy Jackie Zeladon, her dad, he turned me on to file sharing. Right?
Yeah, I did that for a stint.
Oh man! And then once the record companies began to figure out the technology and going in and doing copywriting and the whole piece, you could watch movies back in the day. I don't know. They had to do some licensing when they did Cooley High because it was basically a Motown kind of soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
But you would watch movies and you'd be going like, do they have a permission to use that song? I guess they would have to because, at that level, you have corporate lawyers who are always looking at
those entertainment lawyers.
Those entertainment lawyers where you're going in. But to be able to go in and then you would find that, let's say you go to the movies, and I always sit there, I've got so much music from the credits, and now that I have Shazam, I'm able to go in and actually capture who the song is by. In some instances, I can download it. So you've been able to catch a whole lot of good music. But you can buy a soundtrack, and there was music that you heard in the movie you won't hear on the soundtrack because they didn't give that. So you go in, especially with the digital thing, or you had things like one of my favorite songs by Sly Stone is Sex Machine. Bum, 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 boop, boop, boop. That's a 13-minute song. The only thing, digitally, you have to buy the whole album to get that song. Because when you go digital, you can just go in. Because they said back in the day, it was the awful music, right, that really sold records. So if you bought an album, you might have 1-2 hits on there. The rest of it is just garbage, right? Unless you do something like Off the Wall, where just about every song on there was a jam. And I'm going to say Thriller. Every song on there pretty much was a jam, but it's rare. A lot of times you have 1 or 2 albums, 1 or 2 records on the album. And then the other thing, boy, it would be good to do something one day. I don't know if y'all let me do this musical piece. B-sides, we've talked about like B-side hits. Okay. Oh, ooh, they're gonna let me do B-sides. Oh man, there's a B-side to a Michael Jackson 5 song, and I don't know if it was Dancing Machine. But All I Do Is Think of You. Well, the Jackson 5 did that. Oh man, that was part of my little love soundtrack when I was a freshman in college. But then Troop did it. And so more people identify that song with Troop than they do with the Jackson 5. Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Well, not Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, I'm sorry. Respect. Most people, when they think of the song Respect, written by Otis Redding, they think of Aretha Franklin. And it's really interesting because when you listen to the 2 versions, they are different. You know, Aretha brings her own special Aretha thing to it that makes it so what it is. But so there's a lot of times there's folks out there like, I didn't know that what was the song Hold On, I'm Coming was one of the songs that Isaac Hayes wrote. You know, found out when his son came out, and they basically are now bringing not a lawsuit, but they're really going after the Trump people for using their song. I don't know how the Rolling Stones felt about Trump in that first campaign using, and I don't know why his people weren't sitting there listening to what that song was saying, but he used to do the Rolling Stones, You Can't Always Get What You Want. And I'm thinking, you playing that at a rally where you just set up and promised them everything, and now you're playing you can't always get what you want. So what up, Jay, man?
Hey, Jack, what's going on, man?
Man, look at that cap. Who's on that cap, man?
Man, I don't know, man. It's a couple cats playing basketball.
You know, it was crazy when they did the shout out from the great state of Indiana, and they said home of the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
There was some other. Oh, this was cool. I didn't mention this yesterday. The roll call, as Michelle said, was off the chain. The music was incredible. And so when states would do their what they were famous for, which didn't happen with Wisconsin, I think it did. I don't know. Man, Pretty Tony really messed that up. But the guy who first started speaking for Indiana was Sean Austin.
Sean Austin.
And when I'm looking at Sean Austin, I'm going, and then you could hear the people in the back when he started talking going, Rudy, Rudy. He was the guy that played Rudy.
Oh.
Notre Dame is in Indiana. That was cool. And I'm going like, oh man, that's Rudy.
Wow.
That's Rudy. So that was DJ. Again, I told Michelle the only little critique I had, because this DJ Cassidy was bringing it, was I thought they should have did some go-go when they introduced the District of Columbia, because yeah, you had those songs, but if you've ever been to DC, man, go-go is big when you talk about like Chuck Brown, EU, Rare Essence. I mean, that was go-go. And then one of the first go-go songs I heard that I didn't realize was go-go was Marvin Gaye's Gotta Give It Up. And I couldn't figure out, my classmates from DC, when that song going, these Negroes would lose their mind. I'm going, what? And come to find out that it was go-go, and we really understand what go-go is. All right, you're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Attention business owners. Do you want to learn how to grow your business and network with other successful entrepreneurs in Wisconsin? Do you want to understand the resources that can truly help you? If you have answered yes to either question, you should consider attending the Business Council's 26th annual luncheon on Thursday, August 22nd from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. This event, themed Deeply Rooted, featuring special guest Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, host of BET News. Join us as we discuss how to successfully navigate business growth in today's economic climate while celebrating 26 years of helping ethnically diverse businesses make the connection in Wisconsin. To learn more or to register for the event, visit tbcmkeevents.com. This event is sponsored by our partners at Associated Bank, U.S. Bank, Diamond Disc International, Fusion Integrated Solutions, and of course, the one and only WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM. Again, business owners, visit tbcmkeevents.com to register or call 414-287-4108 for more information, as walk-ins cannot be accepted.
Are you missing the fun? If you are a wine drinker, you will have a blast being a winemaker at our Black Winemaker Chicago day trip. It's not just making wine, it's quite an experience to say the least. Don't miss the Black Winemaker Chicago day trip, August 31st, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is the last chance to make wine. The remaining trips will be for bottling. Register now at twbcc.com. Classes fill up fast. Save the date, November 29th through December 1st. We are hosting the Black Friday Weekend Diverse Business Expo. We have quite an agenda planned. You should be there. We're over halfway through 2024. Are you on point with your plan for the year? Let's wrap this year up strong, y'all. Visit twbcc.com to keep up with what we have going on.
Get your tickets now to the Milwaukee Gala that empowers communities and change lives. Join us at the new rooftop ballroom of the Baird Center for Greater Milwaukee Urban League's Black and White Ball, celebrating 105, legacy and impact. It's all happening on Saturday, November 2nd, with entertainment by Shantae Moore. This event sells out. Get your ticket and sponsorship information now at tmul.org and click Black and White Ball link.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
Listen, everybody. Listen up good now. Listen, everybody. Listen.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. That's one of my favorite 22 versions of Out There's in the Country. I love it. That's the headbanging one, though. That's like when you at the concert and all those heads are.
Yeah, man, that's that energy.
That's that energy, man. I watch Convocations. I love watching Convocations.
Yeah.
And back in the day, there was a song they were doing at Convocation, either Convocation or they did it at Bountiful Blessings. But there's a song that they do in the Church of God in Christ when they have the fans.
Yeah.
And the fans are like, and everybody's doing that fan, and they had that fan and rhythm, and you see everybody. So yeah, that whole group thing you know, that when everybody's on the same page, and that's a party, that's worship. I mean, I just love when people have those. From a religious perspective, we call it a Pentecostal moment. Everybody's on one accord. But if you had a party, it's a jam.
It's a jam.
And everybody is, because there's songs. I tell you what, I know I diverse, but there's one when Atomic Dog comes on. It is like celebrate for white people. When they do celebrate, white people lose their mind. They go crazy.
With no rhythm.
And no rhythm, but they got to that Yahoo. Oh man! So I know Kool in the Game, which was a jazz group, they do, but that's the anthem.
Yeah.
Like there's certain songs we will play at a family reunion. Trust me, at a wedding reception for white people, Celebrate is coming on at some point. Oh my God. We're just
You right, Doc. I've seen it.
Man, you lose that. We just like, whoa. But I mean, certain things that, you know, is just like a communal thing where you just kind of know, like, you just drop what you're doing, man. That's the one. We're joined in studio by Miss Kristen Harris and who she used to be my friend, Miss Jackie Day.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm
And
still
again, I'm gonna do it. Versity,
yes.
the Milwaukee Blood Center. So thank you again. Yeah. I think I had the opportunity to speak to the CEO.
You did.
I did.
Chris Miskell.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. And his enthusiasm for the
work.
work.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves. I'll start with Jackie, then I'll go to Kristen. We'll just work our way back. So tell us a little about you, how long you've been with Versity.
I've been with Versity a little over, I believe it's like 13 months now.
Okay.
I am the community health navigator.
Okay.
Helping out the community in any way that I can. What I do is serve the community, go out to do tabling events and greet the community, engage with the community, making sure that they know that we're here and that we're here to serve them. So, and whatever their needs are. I've been working in community for over 20 years now.
Milwaukee native?
No, not a Milwaukee native. Been here since 79.
Well, that's a native. It was last century.
I still have my Arkansas roots.
You're from Arkansas? Where you from? A shout out Arkansas.
I am from a small town called
Fordyce.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of people up here I know from that beautiful city. The Easters, I think, are from that. Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Small world. A lot of people Metropolitan from Fordyce.
Oh,
a lot of people from Arkansas. Yeah. Great. You got family in Fordyce?
Pine Bluff.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful state. It really is a beautiful state. We went to Lake Washington. That is part of Hot Springs. That's beautiful. Oh, but Lake Washington.
From there, I've never been.
Really?
Hot Springs. No.
Well, check this out. I grew up in Milwaukee and had never been in a brewery.
Oh.
And I grew up when we had nothing but breweries. I've never been a brewery. But there's people lived in New York City, never been to the top of the Empire State Building. People in Washington, D.C., talk about Washington, D.C., never been to the top of the Washington Monument.
That's true.
You know, so it's really interesting. Yeah. Kristen?
Hi, I am Kristen Harris. I'm
Come
the community.
So we can hear.
Hi, I'm Kristen Harris. I'm the Community Outreach Manager at Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin. I've been here a little over a year and a half. And so my role is really just getting the education out about Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin for one, but then also just really working with the Black and Brown community, especially on the north side of Milwaukee, and helping them understand how important blood donation is and understanding different blood disorders such as sickle cell, lupus. Those typically affect people of color at a larger rate than white counterparts. And so just getting the education out, building that trust. We know we are a part of healthcare. We are people with needles. And so there's a lot of, my grandma told me about the Tuskegee experiment. And I remember all this, mistrust with healthcare. And I'm not really messing with, these needles. But then when we look at the news and we see some of the crime that's happening in Milwaukee and throughout our nation, people are getting shot. People are, going through tragedies. Again, people with sickle cell need chronic blood transfusions often, and so we're saving lives. So we have to get that education out, that it's more than just getting the trust of the community, but also just understanding that this could help save your loved one, a blood donation. So,
And where are you from originally?
I'm from Milwaukee.
You made it sound like you just got to the city.
I'm from Milwaukee. No, I'm
Oh,
here.
okay.
I'm here. I left and came back, but
Okay.
I'm back.
Shout your high school.
Whitefish Bay.
She said, "Oh, Whitefish."
Because I knew I was going to get a look or something.
The Blue Dukes.
Whitefish Bay
The
High
Blue
School.
Dukes.
The Blue Dukes, yes. But I left and went to HBCU. So
Which one?
Norfolk State University in
Oh,
Norfolk,
Norfolk.
Virginia. Yes.
No. Bobby Dandridge.
Yes. There you go. There's a big picture of him in our gym.
Finally got in the Hall of Fame. It
Yeah,
took
I
long
know.
enough, but
He used
yeah.
to come back to school, and yeah, he's a
I
cool
think
guy.
the college I went to back then, it was Division II, and we played Norfolk State, and he was there. I think he played against Fred Carter, who was at our school. But
Where'd you go?
Huh?
Where'd you go?
Mount St. Mary's University in Emmitsburg, Maryland, which is
Right up DMV.
yeah,
Okay.
right. Well, a little bit from the DMV. It's up 70-15, but we're right.
Okay.
What we're famous for is being 12 miles from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
So the
okay, you're
battlefield
kinda
is
another
right
way.
across, and it's also right on the Mason-Dixon line.
Oh,
That
okay.
Mason-Dixon line.
Okay.
So I went to college in Nashville. I never went to
Oh.
college above the Mason-Dixon line. It was all below.
nice.
So
Very nice.
So you were talking about the work that you do there, like you talk about blood work and how important it is. And certainly certain neighborhoods are more prone to traumatic injuries, which would require blood.
Right. Yeah.
And so sometimes we're the beneficiaries of that. But then when you look at our level of blood donation, it's rather low compared
Very
to our
low.
need, right?
Yeah. Yep. Extremely low. So, when we look at who's typically donating blood, it's typically older white people, white males.
You got no blood.
And, matching matters. So knowing your blood type, a lot of Black people and people in general don't even know their blood type. So, just getting that education out, because if you have the RO blood, which is the blood that goes to people that are living with sickle cell, people don't even know sometimes that they have RO blood. So that's the mission of Versitis, to help people understand, education around blood and what your blood type is. And if you have a specific or rare type of blood, you can help certain people. And, when we look at sickle cell, it's, a lot of Black people are walking around living with sickle cell. We know in the zip code of 53212, where our new location is on Versity on King, we have at least 60 people living with sickle cell. And if they, have a crisis or, they need a blood transfusion and we don't have enough blood on site, people may pass. So we have to keep that education going.
How important is it as a community health navigator to be able to explain to people, one, how the process works, and then the importance of that work?
Well, it's very important because when I'm out there, many times I ask the community or someone that comes up to my table, do you know anyone with sickle cell? And they was like, at first the answer is, well, no. But then they think about it and then they say, well, yeah, I had a friend that had sickle cell. And I'm like, okay, is this friend still living? It was like, no, they passed away. So, and then I always tell the story when I first started, and I table an event and I met this young lady and I was asking her about sickle cell, and she was like, yes, she had a brother who's been living with sickle cell all his life. And I asked, well, do you donate blood? And she was like, well, no. And then she questioned me about her son. She know the symptoms of sickle cell, and she said, well, should I go have my son tested because he's complaining about pain in his leg? And I said, yes, you should go and have your son tested. And then once you find out whatever the diagnosis is, you do know you can donate blood to him if he needs it.
And that was so if people with the sickle cell trait,
Mhm.
not necessarily disease, and a lot of people
Yes.
carry the
People
trait,
out with
are they still able to give blood?
No.
Okay, why not?
Yeah. No, they're not able to. There's been, sorry, my mic. There's been just different conversations about what that could potentially look like. But people who are typically living with the sickle cell trait, even though they don't have sickle cell disease, they may have other complications.
Okay.
And so, unfortunately, they cannot. Yeah, it's.
Would it be
It's a-
though in a family?
Mhm.
Could it be part of the DNA marker in a family where, though the person might not have disease or have the disease,
Mhm.
and I'm talking about the disease that's the
Mhm.
full,
Sickle
the
cell.
pain,
Mhm.
the sickle cell,
Yep.
but they're carrying the trait.
Yep.
So you wouldn't encourage them to get blood.
I would not. Unfortunately, back in the day, I think when people would get married, you would have a blood test first. And so you would kind of know who you're mixing with. And nowadays,
And if you had a venereal disease.
well, all of these,
No,
all
no,
of these
that
things.
was
I know
that
all of
was
these
one of the
things are
things,
not
because we don't do blood tests
You're
anymore.
just on your own now.
Right.
So people do not know who they're, literally having kids with. And so now kids are, born and they have certain diseases such as sickle cell, and it's an inherited disease. And a lot of sometimes parents don't know that their, blood isn't compatible with mom isn't compatible with dad, mom. People just don't know. So, and now your child has sickle cell.
And that's really fascinating for adopted people.
Yeah.
Who may or may not have access to their natural parents.
I would hope they would do that testing, but yeah. I mean, people don't think about stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah.
So you when you talk about that, the other reasons why you might not be able to get blood, to get that's off the table. So people who are iron deficient,
yes,
cannot. Right.
That is the top two reasons why people, and I would say Black and African Americans, cannot donate is due to high blood pressure and low iron. And so for us, and there's also, when you come in to give blood, there's a questionnaire that's asked of you. So certain medications and things like that. There's a list of different reasons why someone could not, but typically it's high blood pressure and low iron.
So you say high blood pressure, I'm hypertensive, but it's managed. So
then you could.
You're okay.
Yeah. And I don't want to say if you have high blood pressure, don't come in, but come in because you go through like a mini exam, physical exam when you come in to donate, and they'll check your blood pressure. They'll ask you about your medications. If it's managed, you can give if you have high blood pressure. But a lot of folks who it's not under control or something like that, they can't. And that is something that is helpful for us to have Jackie in our location on King Drive is if someone comes in to donate blood and their blood pressure is too high and they can't donate that day, our phlebotomists are equipped to say, hey, do you need help finding a primary care physician? Is your blood pressure being managed? And if they say, no, I don't actually have a primary care physician, they can then send Jackie out and say, hey, come in my office and let me help you find a primary care physician. Let's get you healthy so that you can give.
What about low blood pressure? Because there are some people
I mean, if it's super low, you shouldn't even be out there walking. Probably not.
Probably
but
would be walking.
I was gonna say, I think low. That's manageable. I think it's the high blood pressure that I typically see.
I understand now that the ban on gay men donating
overturned.
Blood, that's changed.
So that has changed. Our questionnaires have changed when you come and donate blood. They will ask you several questions about your sexual orientation, history, different partners. I mean, it's asked to everyone, not just if you are a part of LGBTQ. So yes, now you can if you are.
And just a little background on that, when HIV was first discovered, and again, the group that was primarily hit in America was gay men. And actually blood supplies, and I want to use the word contaminated, but I guess there's no other way to describe it. That's how Arthur Ashe, he had a blood transfusion for surgery, and then Ryan White, but he was a what is it, the bleeding disease. He was when
I'm
you
not
can't,
as familiar.
when you can't stop bleeding. Oh God, it's gonna come to me. But that was his.
I know what you're
condition.
talking about, but I
Roger
can't think
Ailes
of it.
had
offhand.
it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he got a blood transfusion.
Yep.
And it changed the whole thing about
Mm-hmm.
how we looked at HIV and AIDS. But it did have, and man, we're talking now, that's over 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that band.
Yeah.
So I think we got everything off the table in terms of why you can't. So let's talk about how you can.
You can come to Versity and donate blood.
Well, I'm talking about. We're not done yet.
I was going to say, let me get into my.
No. What I'm saying that we talked about all the things that might prevent you
Yeah.
from doing, but let's talk about why we want you to come if you don't fall in those things we just identified.
Well, we want you to come to help save lives. I mean, not to sound cliche, but all the things we just talked about. In our new location on King Drive, just being in a predominantly
We're
Black
gonna get
neighborhood.
to that. Because that's special.
Yeah, it's hot.
Special. There's some history there.
Yeah.
You're listening to Community Voice. We're joined in studio by the good folks from Versity, Blood Center here in Milwaukee. Just in case you didn't know, this organization goes back to 1947. It's a long time. No Blood Center. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice, and we're joined in the studio by Miss Kristen Harris and Miss Jackie Day. Jackie, you're not shy. No, you're not. You wouldn't be able to do what you do. You forced her to come. What do they call it? Like when on your job, it's short of mandatory, and they say, "Well, we strongly encourage you."
Voluntold.
Right,
voluntold. Is,
Where you get to strongly encourage, because the next thing is going to be, it's mandatory.
Yes.
So if you don't do it willingly, but we're talking about the importance of blood and blood donations, and why there's such a critical need. I know during COVID there was a drop in the blood supply, and we had, and then in the summer usually there's a drop in the blood supply, right?
Yep. A lot of folks are traveling, school's out, they're with their families, and a lot of our blood drives happen at schools. And so we can pull our mobile bus up and have a blood drive at a school. So when schools are closed, we rely on the donor centers, and then we also rely on community events to have our blood drives.
First time I donated blood was at another school in Whitefish Bay, Dominican. The other school. And the only reason why I went was they gave you donuts and orange juice.
We do give good treats,
right? So when you're a kid, all you want to do is eat.
Oh boy,
So what about the good of sharing blood? But no, they give me donuts and orange juice, man.
Wow.
Come on, I'm 16. What?
That's all you want.
Care about the world blood supply? You're not getting donuts, would you?
Right,
the things that matter.
Right.
So we talked about that importance, but during the summer it drops,
Mm-hmm.
and we could argue in certain neighborhoods the need goes up because as the temperature goes up, traumatic kind of things happen, right? And so the make sure, and then again, and we can emphasize it more, you will find that Black folks are usually the beneficiaries of this, but then we don't give at the same level. So let's talk about something that can be for some folks controversial that you also do, organ donation.
Yes. So we are the organ and tissue procurement agency for all the hospitals in Wisconsin.
I like the way you just phrased that. Procurement.
Yes. So we have a team that goes into the hospital while people are trying to make those tough decisions, and that's.
And I know that for some folks, there are religious reasons.
Oh, absolutely.
For why they would not donate an organ.
And for blood, there's religious reasons.
Yes, I know. I think it's certainly Jehovah's Witness.
Yes.
Christian Scientists.
Yes.
And so but the vast majority of people don't have religious prohibitions for them giving blood, so you can still give blood.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting, especially the organ piece, because there some religious people believe in the afterlife. They believe in whole body resurrection, which is kind of fascinating, seeing that the body will, if it's in the ground any amount of time, is going to turn to dust.
Yes.
But this whole idea, you want everything to be intact.
Yeah.
And so, and that might, but that's such a small percentage of the population. Most of us, if we're not dealing with those other issues, we can get blood.
Yeah.
And we can donate organs.
Yeah.
Now there's two ways that you can, I'm thinking, I know the number one, on your driver's license, you can, but you also have agreements, right, that people sign. Because I think my agreement is with the old blood center, which I'm sure transferred over to you all.
So Versity is the blood center of Wisconsin. So we changed our name. So
So if I had it on file under the old blood center, you still have it now, or what I need to come in and
you
do
should have a dot, an orange dot on your driver's license too.
I do.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're in the system.
Okay.
You're good. There's a system.
Well, I don't know if that's good. I've been dead when you get
Well,
the
I
organs.
mean,
You good. I'm good.
When the time comes.
But yeah, I mean, because it was.
We'll leave it
It's
at
like
that.
when you interviewing a funeral director. Well, we hope that you won't need our services anytime soon. They say never.
But call us.
But call us and keep us in mind if you ever. Yeah, I mean, it's just. But so the encouragement of that. Why is it important that descendants of enslaved African people donate organs?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I mean, I understand religious beliefs. And I always, when people come up to us and they say, well, I'm such and such religion, I don't do it. I never pressure anyone, but I think it's important for people to know that you could save a life. I mean, you're no longer with us. So you could be saving someone else's life. It could be a family member. It could be a child. It could be, an adult. It could be anybody. So I guess not to get into opinions, but I just think it's a selfless thing to do. So
And
I wish more people would.
Do you think that, Jackie, that if we raise the information level that people have, that they might be more apt than to give?
I think so. And then I would just want to say this too, Keith. And we don't take the organs only unless you're passed away is when we take organs.
Well, that's good to
We're
know.
not gonna take it.
Can we see you in the room?
No, it's like,
oh boy, yeah.
No one even comes. No one knows. The doctor doesn't know that you're an organ donor, and they're not gonna not save your life. They're gonna do every effort they can to save your life. So just because you're a organ donor doesn't mean that they're gonna let you die. That's some information that needs to go out to the community as well. And yes, I do. Every bit of information and education that we could give to the community to kind of break down some of those barriers is very vital and very important, because if we could think about it in a community like this, yes, your loved one has passed away, and they do donate their organ, that person could live in someone else. Like they donate, that person's heart is in that person that lived. You can actually meet possibly the donor that they saved their life, your eyes or whatever, or your kidney, yeah.
And I think it's interesting you were talking about some of the myths out there. When the people hear the term organ harvesting, it conjures up in effect like you're breeding people just to harvest the organs, and that's not how that works.
No,
that's
not at all.
It's amazing what people can run with.
Yes,
but there have been people out there who have, I know, drug people gone in.
We won't get into that today.
Okay, but I'm just that's not you all.
That is not Versitis.
Keith, can we see you in the room? Okay, just come over here.
Next topic.
The location.
Yes.
It's here's a fascinating little tidbit to my life that nobody knows and nobody cares about. I spent my entire childhood in 53212. I lived no place but 53212. I didn't get out of 53212 until I was a sophomore in college.
Wow.
So the historic piece and the building.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that building. Why that's so significant.
It's beautiful. So we are now a first floor tenant at the old Gimbel Schuster's department store. It's been renovated. It's been a eyesore in Milwaukee for decades, but Royal Capital, GMF, Greater Milwaukee Foundation, as well as Medical College of Wisconsin came together and said, let's build a community resource hub. And let's think about who we can have in here, what type of organizations we can have in here to help better Milwaukee. And so Versity is now a first floor tenant. We have a donor center. We have 6 donor beds. We will be, we'll have Jackie's office there, as well as our community health navigator. My office is there. We also have phlebotomists that we're training out of this location. So we have a training center for phlebotomists. So if you're hired at Versity, and we're always looking for talent, so you'll be trained at that location. There's also Maleka Childcare is on the first floor. They'll be opening shortly, as well as JobsWorks Milwaukee, MKE. They are on the first floor. And then the second and third floor, MCW has some offices, not a clinic, just offices. And then the 4th floor is Greater Milwaukee Foundation. That is their full headquarters there. So lots of folks.
We have one of the greatest, if not the greatest, King Drives in the country.
We do.
And I take enormous pride in it. And every time I see the alderwoman who represents it, I let her know. And how, so I think that vision, first of all, utilizing that building, I don't know what it looked like on the inside, but
it's beautiful.
No, prior to
Oh,
the
prior.
renovation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they did some things
It was rough.
where they went in and just covered up things. And that's
Mhm.
the whole thing about a lot of times when we think about some of these buildings, how
Mhm.
we're quick to raise them
Yeah.
as opposed to retrofitting them.
Mhm.
I mean, issues around housing.
Yeah.
We see some of that with schools now.
Yep.
Schools that are not used now becomes like this mixed housing
Yep.
kind of thing. But I just think that it anchors.
Mhm.
And that store was kind of like the center.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I was a little guy, we never had to go downtown.
I know.
Literally.
We hear those stories all the time. You know, my grandma worked here. My mom worked here. I was always shopping here. When I first started here about a year and a half ago and had the tour, I was like, ooh, it's rough. But you could see the foundation, you know, places and buildings that were built back in the 1910s were just amazing. So you could see the vision back then a little bit, but now that it's done, it's beautiful in there. And they've kept a lot of historical pieces, even in our space in Versity. There's a lot of little historical pieces with our pillars and walls and the mezzanine in the building. It's just beautiful. It's nice to see it come to
Now,
life.
where's your main headquarters?
18th in Wisconsin.
Okay, you're still on 18th in
Yep.
Wisconsin. Okay.
We're still there. So this is an added donor center. We've never had a donor center on the north side of Milwaukee. So we've had a presence. We've been at schools and churches throughout the north side of Milwaukee. And, you know, we have our bus that goes to Juneteenth and different community events. But this is us saying, community, we are here now. We are going to be at this permanent location. We're going to educate you on what blood and tissue and organ procurement looks like. We have a community health navigator that can help you with basic social services needs like housing, transportation, food, healthy food options. And then we'll also be hiring from within the community as well. So we have our training center there where people can learn to become a phlebotomist and then they'll go out to the floor. So, yeah.
It is when you phlebotomist and boy, if you're being poked, oh God,
Oh, boy.
trying to find a vein,
Yeah.
where people go in and but so I admire their skill level.
Yeah.
But when I'm sitting down and I'm looking at now, when they got you
It's
hooked
not
up,
that bad, y'all. I hear everybody moaning.
No, it
You over
isn't.
here moaning.
No, it isn't. I know. Ooh, I know.
We scared them.
But did you see the bag
You
though
saw the
with
needle
that
coming?
plasma?
Listen,
Oh, God.
I had. Now I know everybody is not bad, but I
Yeah.
had this one cat at this
Oh,
one facility. I'm not gonna say,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
but they poked me 3 to 4 times,
Oh,
and
no.
he almost caught a right hook.
Oh,
Because I told him, I said, you poke me one more time and miss this vein, me and you fighting.
Yeah.
Can't
Now
find
it's
the vein.
personal.
We can't find the vein.
I mean, now it's personal. I mean,
I have heard
you
those
got my
stories
arm
of people
tight
who
and-
have,
and I'm
yeah.
hanging, I'm squeezing, and I can't. You moving in the
Oh.
right. You got one more. You got one more again.
Now there's some people
Oh,
though.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
certainly among older people where it's hard to find a vein.
Yeah.
That's very
Small
true.
veins.
Yeah,
It is.
small,
It can
smaller
be.
veins because they're contrasting.
Yeah.
And but look, it was painless. It was cool. I did it at the truck a couple of years ago out at Vincent.
Okay.
Representative Myers
Yep.
organized
She has
that
a
blood
nice
drive.
one. Yep.
And
Yep.
so I was
Mhm.
out there and
Good.
but you've been able to see. What is the difference between plasma and blood, or is there a difference?
So are you talking about the plasma centers when people go?
Because you extract plasma. Right?
Yeah. So plasma is more for like burns and things like that. The blood is actually to, I would say, save someone's life.
Okay.
So that is what's going in your body when you do the blood. But plasma is more of
So is that
blood,
separated out the blood?
Yep. So we
Okay.
can pull all that. There's a lot of testing that happens, extractions that happen. We have our Blood Research Institute on Watertown Road on the Freighter campus as well, where they do a lot of the testing there and pulling everything apart. So yeah, it's all pulled.
So you guys back in the schools?
We will be, yep, schools are starting back up shortly. So I would say we'll have some blood drives coming up in September in the fall. Yep.
And if we kind of circle back to why organ donations are so important for our community.
Yeah.
If we look at the number of people on the wait list for kidneys, for
Mhm.
example, right? And so one of the things, one that seems to be one of the fastest growing little industries we have here is dialysis,
Yeah.
because we have so many people now who have to go in for dialysis, and then once they do total kidney failure, they're going to be in need of a kidney, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately.
So it is important for us when you look at, and especially then when you look at how these comorbidities will then impact on our organs, and how important that is. You talked about sickle cell, which I think is being better treated now. So
Yeah,
we act
it
as
is.
if it doesn't exist. It's one of those things. And I know, what about, I asked you off air about bone marrow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you all do bone marrow?
So that's more at the hospital level,
Okay.
not at Versity. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you all have like some community events coming up that you're going to participate in?
So I would just add here, Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin. Our Versity on King location is now open Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8 to 3:30. So if you'd like to come out and donate, please do so. We accept walk-ins as well as appointments. We will start to we've had a couple already. We opened on June 19th, but we're doing a lot of events around blood typing. We opened on Juneteenth.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So we opened on Juneteenth. We had our mobile bus at the Juneteenth event or celebration, but then we also opened our location. We'll be having a lot of events so people could come out and learn their blood type. So it's just really a poke on your finger, and in about 5 minutes, you can learn your blood type. So you walk away knowing your blood type. I can't tell you how many people don't know. I think that's important. Your doctor's office doesn't tell you anymore. Back in the day, they did. So the only way to really find out your blood type is through blood donation. So we'll have that. We'll have quite a few events in September. Sickle Cell Awareness Month is September. So we will have a sickle cell summit at City Hall that we are working on in September. And then we'll have some events around blood typing in September as well at our location. So more information will come out on our socials. So follow us on Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin.
Jackie, you were shaking your head. You wanted to add something?
No, I was shaking my head in agreement that the blood type testing is coming up. And so we look forward to the community coming out to actually participate in that, to learn your type, because once I go to the tabling events, I often ask the question, do you know your blood type? And they say no. So this is a free way of learning what your blood type is.
Is that, I mean, we have all of the little things in our, our little warning things and telling us about, I guess, the bracelets for people who might be diabetic and things like that.
Yeah.
So the importance of knowing your blood type. Now, they'll figure it out if you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to know.
Yeah, it's good to know.
And how would you just give us something?
Yeah, you can get like a little card that says I'm O positive or whatever. But I think something that people enjoy seeing is that some people have the RO antigen, which is the blood type that people living with sickle cell need. So they can only receive RO blood. So when people walk away and find out they're O neg or whatever, but they also have the RO antigen, then they're excited to donate because now I can help save my cousin with sickle cell or whatever, however you look at that.
Are there normal?
Blood
types that
blood
would
types.
be more common.
O positive, O
positive.
negative. Those are the O's.
It's the O's.
Yep. Okay. The O's. They're all important, but the O's are pretty universal. That's what's on like an ambulance has O. So if somebody is in dire need of blood, they'll typically get the O blood because that's more universal. So
may I ask, who do you all supply the blood to?
All the hospitals in Wisconsin.
So all the hospitals.
Yep.
Okay, not a
56.
particular hospital.
We work
group.
with all of them.
Yep. So the importance of this, and again, sounds like I'm repeating myself, but I think it is important. As a matter of fact, if you look in my text messages, I have yet another message from Versity inviting me in to give blood. Oh yeah.
You can come to 2153 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive.
And what's the time if I wanted?
8 a.m. to 3:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
3 days a week right now.
Okay.
So as we're more into the community, we may open up those hours, but for now. Yeah.
Wow. This is worthwhile. We do a segment every Tuesday called Be Healthy, Be You.
Mhm.
And so we talk about that, and we've done several programs on blood donations and organ donation. You mentioned another one, tissue.
Tissue.
Talk about that and why.
That's more of like eye is considered tissue. Eyes and things like that are considered tissue.
Okay.
But organs obviously are your organs.
Okay.
So
Well,
we lump it into
the
tissue.
largest organ in the body is the skin.
Look at you.
Yeah.
All right. Did your homework.
No, well, I tell you, every Tuesday I'm
know,
sitting there,
right,
I'm ready to
that's
graduate.
right. Look at you, I
Open up my
know.
little practice.
MD,
We
all
are
right.
in a former doctor's office. This
See?
is Dr.
There you
Finlay's
go.
office, just in case people,
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Finlayson used to be my doctor.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
because you made it sound like you just got here, 1979.
No.
1970.
No, but I am familiar with Dr. Finlayson because when I got here, he was my doctor.
Yeah. So,
okay.
so being able to, wow, Norfolk Steak, huh?
Yes.
My mom.
We'll be on Saturday on ABC.
Who you
Shameless plug, FAMU.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna put it out there. You open the door.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm gonna
the
open
SWAC and MEAC.
Okay.
FAMU versus Norfolk
Well, who
State.
cares about the football game? What's happening with those bands?
I don't know. My brother went to FAM. I went to Norfolk.
Is that
so
right?
It's kind of like a.
Okay. Well,
I'm all about the HBCU.
The Marching 100.
I know, but don't leave out the Spartan Legion.
Okay, that's your marching band.
That's our band.
And that's Saturday.
Yeah, on ABC.
Anybody's ever been to a HBCU know that when you go to a football game, the football game is secondary to everything else that's going on.
It is. That's probably why I never went to Madison. I was like,
really?
What are they gonna do?
Oh my God! I mean,
but
the first HBCU football game I went to was at Howard University.
Yes,
and I had never been.
Oh yeah.
To a HBCU football game.
Oh,
so I turned to my buddy and go, "When does the band stop playing?"
Never.
And last year, when they did whatever the Heritage Bowl,
okay,
who was it, FAMU or whoever it was, they had to tell the band you need to stop playing because, especially when they're on offense.
Yeah.
Oh man, and you can have both bands going at the same time. Usually at other institutions, you have Wisconsin band play. Do you have Purdue?
It's like that during basketball games. Every event at HBCU is like that. The football just gets more,
Well, and then you and then you just the pageantry. I had the opportunity, and it's great that the homecoming games I've had a chance to go to. I haven't been to Hampton. Everyone talks about Hampton's the homecoming. I'm sure you're gonna say Norfolk State.
I mean,
but
I'm biased.
And they're all
Hampton's
in the
across
same
the street,
little area,
basically.
right? They're in the same area.
They're like 30 minutes.
But
away.
I did go to Morehouse's homecoming game.
Okay.
And the interesting thing was to see the different fraternities and sororities, the young people who are online.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Or then, of course, then the Greek show that they do.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're able to. So that
we're going off. We're going off.
Well, no, because we're almost done anyway.
But no, you're good. It's a different world.
It
like
is
a
a
TV
different
show.
world.
It is a different.
Very different world in terms of what you get our little thing when I was in college, because we didn't have football teams so small, but we did have basketball. That was really big. Was when they do the national anthem.
Yeah.
And how funny the national anthem was at the Mount. I mean, they have this recording that they play.
Oh.
You're a student, right? You just let's get through this. And they would turn it into something that is just like to the point where you hear people doing the cymbals. But no, that's an interesting experience. You're listening to Community Voice. We're up on the last break of the program. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice, and as we finish up with the good folks here at Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin, right?
Wisconsin, yeah.
Again, if people, is there a number they can call, website they can go to?
So you can go to Versity, VERSITI.org. If you would like to donate, you can go under Donate Now and look for a location. Please come to Versity on King, which is our new location, 2153 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. We're open Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays, 8 to 3:30 p.m. And you can always check out our socials, Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin as well.
Jackie?
And if you're looking for services from the Community Health Navigator, you can reach me at 414-530-8460. That is my mobile number. My office number is 414-937-6417. And once again, I can help you with the resources such as housing, transportation, safety, insurance. So please reach out to me if you need any of those services.
Well, certainly, what a pleasure to meet you all, and thank you for the conversation. And now I will be on Saturday watching Norfolk State.
Thank you.
And Florida A&M.
A&M.
A&M-U.
Well, FAMU. There you
FAMU.
go.
I always get it wrong.
It's all
FAMU.
good. Yep, FAMU.
FAMU.
Yep.
Somebody was talking about when we were first talking about Kamala Harris a few years back, and somebody was talking about she ain't black enough. She went to Howard. You don't get no blacker than going to Howard. You went to Howard.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, put Howard on the map.
That's true.
I mean, it is. I think she will probably be. I'm trying to think the most famous graduate, Thurgood Marshall.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thurgood. Yeah.
Yeah, but that, and you always hear that about, hey, this is the first vice president that ever went to HBCU. Well, how many black vice presidents have we had?
Yeah.
So
that's true.
But yeah, that whole, but the importance of HBCUs cannot be underestimated.
Oh yeah. I go very hard for mine.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Do you want to shout out any? No?
I didn't go to HBCU.
Oh, you didn't? Me either. I did 1 year.
Where'd you go?
American Baptist in Nashville. That's how I do. It was one of the 7. Yeah, yeah. And
my
we have a
niece go to
question.
UAPB.
Okay. Yes, sir.
How old
This is Carter.
is it too late to get into HBCU?
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Just apply.
Would I have to pay?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
What, you think you go to school for free?
I mean, I went to MATC for free.
You might get some
different.
scholarship
You get some
dollars. You never know.
scholarships. Yeah.
You got to apply and just see what's out there.
Is it ever too late to get scholarships?
No. Well, yeah.
Well, age approach. Like there's some that are like for freshman year or first year student. There's all these different types, but I would just see what's out there depending on which one you want to go to.
Quick question.
Yes.
So you went to Whitefish Bay.
Yes.
And I emphasize white.
Okay.
Why did you then? And I know my sister, some other folks. My sister's at Dominican Whitefish Bay. Why HBCU? Was it just because Whitefish Bay was that white? There's no Dominican.
These are not the views of Versity Blood Center, Wisconsin.
No, what I mean by that, some people who kind of went through those environments would say that they would want, this, I'd say, authentic, black.
That's definitely what it was.
Yeah.
And I can't speak if I would have went to a different type of high school, but I definitely, that was a big piece of it. Yeah. Yep.
Let me thank Ms. Kristen Harris, Ms. Jackie Day, Versity of Milwaukee. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
As you all know, we will not be broadcasting tomorrow. We will be at the homegoing of Mr. Keon Jackson Malone. And so as this song is playing, this was a song I brought in. Keon fell in love with. So every Friday when we end the program, we end it with this. So today is the last day of the week. So we're going to end it with it's been a good day. Hey, the good Lord will, the creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. No, on Monday. Y'all go from this place in peace.